Righto, this is my next project. I've got this Kenwood mixer to fix. Now the fault description for this one is that it turns on, but you can't adjust the speed control. It just runs flat out all the time. I'm not sure if I want to test it because when I first put it on the bench, when I got it out of the box, a capacitor fell out of the bottom. Got that capacitor somewhere over here. Let me just dig that out of the box. Alright, it took a minute. I couldn't find this little guy. So this looks like the insides of one of those yellow, what are they called, metallized polypropylene capacitors. I think that's what these ones are. It looks like on top you can see 0.1 microfarad. So having seen that, I have actually ordered some replacement caps because I know I'm going to need one. They won't be arriving for a couple of days, but I do have an idea for a temporary solution until they arrive. So, should I test it or not? Well, I guess that cap's been missing for a while, so let's turn it on and see what happens. Let me hang up the camera on the stand. Alright, I powered up. I'm expecting this thing to be loud as hell. Let's see what happens. Oh, nothing. Cool. Alright, lucky I tested it. Alright, plugs out. Let's flip this thing over and have a look. Now, it's been 20 years since I had one of these on the bench. I used to fix them as a first-year apprentice back when I was doing my electronics apprenticeship. And we started out on small appliances like toasters and kettles and microwaves and these guys. Now, I hated fixing these when I was young because we often had to do some pretty messy stuff with them, like re-greasing the gearbox, which was really not fun. Now, one thing you gotta know about flipping one of these upside down is that this thing is spring-loaded. So if you pull the catch here, with this upside down like this is gonna fire off like a catapult and it will scare the life out of you. If it's possible that it can break itself, it can break the latch inside. So if you're gonna turn one of these upside down and undo the catch, just put a bit of weight on here before you pull this. And that way it comes up. Otherwise, this thing can spring up and smack you in the face, and believe me, it's got more spring in it than you expect. So, we got 2 screws here, and that'll allow this to get out of the way, and it should allow us to get this plastic catch off. And we'll also take out that screw, should allow me to disconnect the power cord. Right, let's get started. So, close that up. I don't need to. That thing will make a convenient little screw cap. Alright. Oops, a bit. I want to take this off completely. Alright, I'm going to disconnect that. That should allow me to get those. So just undoing these two, I can pull out there. Power wire there. Put them to the side. Next is these two. It's very common to actually have to replace this whole assembly because this pin that goes through here, these things can be opened and closed so many times when they're used a lot that this pin can wear out and then it doesn't stay closed anymore because it just stays closed by this flat spot and the position of the key. So once they wear out, they can start firing themselves open for seemingly no reason. It's amazing that 20 years later these things are still exactly the same. Obviously there's newer models with newer speed controls and things like that, and I think at their heart they're exactly the same. So that's a little assembly to hold that in. Get that out of the way. This plastic cap should just pop off. Out of the way. There we go. Oh yes. Oh yes. Cap has gone boom. So let's see if we can look at that. Oh yeah, want some Mr. Crisp. It's almost like something has gotten onto the board there, or is that just crud that's exploded out of the cap? It's interesting. There's another 0.15 mic there. It's going to want to be replaced too. Those grey ones are usually okay, but it's these yellow ones, they dry out and they don't age particularly well. It's really splattered open. Alright, I'm going to pull this board out. Oh, this is one of those ones. This is one of those ones where that adjusts the speed based on these screws. It lifts this board up and down. The speed control actually moves the board up and down, which adjusts the speed. If you see that. To make sure to get this back in the right position, otherwise the speed will be all up the spout. Alright, I have to think about how I'm going to do that. I want to make sure that, I think you count the turns on the, I'm going to count the turns on these screws when I take them out, so I can put them back in with the same number of turns. And that'll be the safest way to get it back in the exact same position. Right, just going to hang the camera up again. I need my hands. I've got another camera stand on the way for the other Canon camera that I've just been working on. But I missed the postman this morning, so I'll have to go and pick it up from the post office later. Which is a pain in the bum. But what can you do? I'm impatient, so I'm making this video before I get the camera stand. Okay, so I've got to get that out. Wish this plastic thing would just stay there. Oh, that's going to annoy me. Where's my tape? The kids have run off with my roll of electrical tape. Where have they put it? Alright, hold fire. I'm going to find some tape. Found it. Seems like I had already stolen it back from the kids. I'm just going to put some tape across here to stop this flopping around in my way. That's better. So I'm going to mark a notch on these screws with my Sharpie here. then I'm going to count the turns to get them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.5. Better write that down. Oh, that was a weird noise. Alright, 8.5. Let's see if the other one's the same. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Good. Now, this should, let's get these springs out the way before they disappear. Disappear deep into the bowels of this thing. There's a pin. There's a pin on the other end. That's what pokes into your speed control. And that's how it moves it up and down. So, I think I should be able to pull out that screw. And that one. And the flip over. Ah, plastic. Out of the way. Small screwdriver on that. Here's one I prepared earlier. I wonder if this triac's alright. If this thing's completely dead, I wonder. These don't have a fuse, so to speak. They do have this breaker button, which could need resetting. Let's have a look. Get those two little ones out. Should be able to get that plastic thing off. There we go. Okay, better look at that. Little pin on there. Looks nice and clean. Can't imagine this thing's had a lot of use. It doesn't look incredibly dirty. Doesn't look like it's done 1,000 hours of mixing dough like these usually have. Now it's got this reset switch on the side. I'm going to get the multimeter out so I can check a few things. Can you see that? Oh yeah, you can see that. We need more light on this end. There we go. Bit more light, never hurts. So, I wanted to check this breaker thingy. Right, so that's fine. Power switch. I would expect that to be yeah, the micro switch is working. So we've got it. Ah, the tape came off. My genius method. Oh, it's taken a bite out of that resistor. I can see that when this cap's exploded, it's blown a hole in the resistor next to it. You can see that there. Looks like a laser beam has blasted through it. Crazy. They've really gone bang. It's going to be tricky to see what value that resistor is. That's a pain. I'm going to measure my triac. Now, I can't for the life of me remember how a triac's supposed to measure. It's been so long. But that was just me testing my probes. I'm going to assume, without looking up any documents on a triac, that it's not supposed to measure short circuit, which it doesn't. So I think that's actually okay. And where's this resistor going? This resistor goes here, through here to there, through this little guy. Now it was such a heavily exploded resistor. I've got to wonder why it blew up. Did the cap just explode and take out the resistor? Did the resistor explode and take out the cap? Did nobody explode anywhere? No, we don't know. What's this thing going across the top here? Looks like just a wire link. It could be a thermistor or something. I'm just checking for shorts. Everything looks good so far. What's that thing? 4.7 mic axial non-polarized? No, it's polarized. 4.7 mic cap up the end here. Wonder if I can measure it in circuit. No. Well, that actually measures 4.9 mic in circuit. I don't usually measure caps in circuit, but it's always interesting to see what measurement you do get when you're measuring them in circuit. And it seems fine. There's no evidence of it leaking or anything. There's a transistor there, better check that little guy. Diode setting. Where is it? Up here. Interesting. That's short, but am I measuring back through something else? There is a resistor next to it. It goes there to there. I think that could be a short. Alright, I'm going to desolder one of the pins on that. See if it's really short or if I'm measuring back through something else. Because there is that. There's that coil there. Just goes from there to there. I think I'm measuring back through the coil. Look. Yeah, got a coil here. Let me point that out. I'll confirm it anyway by desoldering one leg of the transistor, but the coil is between here and here, so we've got our center pin of the transistor down to the coil, out of the coil, back up to the other side of the transistor. So that would be why I'm measuring a short. I'll double check it. Yeah, everything's set up fine. I'll pull out those caps anyway. I'm still working on the kitchen table. I have not got my work desk set up yet. It will be soon, but it's a process. You can't have everything all at once. First you decide to make videos fixing stuff, and then you sort out a desk to do it. That little old Weller iron. This one was a gift from my father-in-law, who works for an electrician firm, and sometimes they throw out their old, well, you know, not an electrician company, like an electricity provider. And sometimes they throw out their old equipment, and so from time to time I get some cool old stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just old. It's not as good as the soldering iron I had in Australia. I had the better model of this one. Same thing, but it has the temperature control in it. Yeah, my dad's got that now. Actually, I think it's broken. I think the tip finally gave up. It was always a bit dodgy, but it gave up. Maybe I'll have to fix that next time I'm there. I've plugged it in. It's a little wick. I usually keep the wick in the bag. The reason for that is that the stuff oxidizes pretty quick. You don't really realize it. It doesn't look any different, but it really doesn't work as well when it gets oxidized. It's basically just bare copper. And it still works. It just doesn't work very well when it gets oxidized. So I just keep it in the bag. Don't have to. If I'm going through a lot of it, if I'm using it every day, I don't keep it in the bag because it doesn't have time to get oxidized before I use it all up. But I'm only doing this as a hobby now, so I don't go through as much. Right. Should be hot enough. Let's just desolder center pin on this transistor. Oh yeah, that was easy. I'll just stand it up, get it away from the pads. Should be able to get a measurement on it without pulling it out. We're still on diode setting, meter's still on. There we go, there's no short on this center pin. No reading at all really. There we go. 0.6 voltage drop. Lovely. Alright, solder that back up. Better lay that pin back over. This is what I'm using for solder at the moment. I haven't got a reel of solder at the moment. I don't know where it's gone. So I'm using this little strand that I pulled off of my reel to do some mobile work at some point. Alright, let's pull one of these caps out. Love working on old boards like this. Leaded solder, the stuff solders like a dream. Wicks out of the holes. Nice big spacious PCB holes. Oh, it's just a pleasure. All the modern stuff is so tiny and the boards are so dense or multi-layered that it just makes it impossible. This one's been a bit stubborn. Let's resolder it. Give it a blast from the sucker. That's better. Just straighten the pins up so it comes out more easily. Oof. Where's my camera? Here it is. Okay, get a look at that. That is a whopper. I've rarely seen these caps explode in this way. That's a good one though. Right. Now, that was really... Let me get a better look at this. This is 0.1 microfarad. The other one is 0.15 microfarad. I wonder how critical that is. Thing is, it could do with the speed control. I don't really want to put the wrong value in, which means I'm going to have to order more caps, which is irritating. There. This is just for my benefit later, because if I pull these caps out now and then I can't remember where they go. I mean, I guess I could always watch back my own video and I don't know where they go. Well, let's get this resistor out. I'm going to try and identify it. That's going to be painful. Here's a squirt of fresh solder. Yeah, the key to desoldering is always solder. More solder, fresh solder, and then things come out more easily. And if it's a lead-free board, just have a bit of lead solder on there. It can go a long way to helping you get things out as well. When you resolder it, I mean, technically you should use lead-free solder. That's what I've always done when I worked in the business. I don't think I'd care about that so much now. Just doing this as a hobby, because I ain't got the money to keep 10 different rounds of weird reels of solder sitting around. And the electrical connection it gives is going to be the same. I mean, someone very smart will probably tell you how wrong that is. But, you know, we're living in reality here. Reality is, electrically, it's not going to make any difference. Maybe over the age of the board. Oh dear, this is absolute junk. How am I going to figure out what this resistor is? I really got to get myself a little pair of needle nose pliers. Pulling things out with my snips is just asking to cut the wrong thing. So we got, I can see green. And on the other end, nothing. I do have tweezers. Oh dear, dear, dear. It's like it's bonded to the board. Ah! Yeah! Oh, it's in a million pieces. Oh god, it's a green blue. I don't even know which way around this was. Ah! I might have to do a bit of research on this one, try and dig up a picture of what this board looks like and find out what value it is. Because there's just nothing left of it. Oh, what a pain. Sometimes you get big explosions like this when a bug crawls across the board. But I can't see any evidence of a marauding arachnid or a cockroach or a moth grub and an LED light in my kitchen. And at the time we had this problem with these little moths that eat your flour. And one of the little grubs crawled into the power supply of the LED light, crawled across the primary side of the main transformer in the power supply and blew the thing to kingdom come. I was very annoyed about that. That was a good light. And I just could not replace that transformer. I couldn't find one. All right. I'm going to get something to clean that up. I wonder if I can see what... There's some colours stuck to the board. Looks like green, blue. It's just not going to work. All right, I'm going to have to do some research on this one. I'm going to try and find a 0.15 mic cap. All right, I'm going to have to turn the camera off for a minute, move this out of the way, get on the laptop, do a bit of research. And I'll turn the camera back on once I've got something decent to show you. Well, I thought I'd take out the other 0.15 mic cap while I'm here as well, and the soldering iron's hot. So you don't have to worry about polarity when you're pulling these particular caps out. They're non-polarized. So you don't have to pay attention to board markings and things. Just pop them out. These things stuck down. Wouldn't surprise me. Ooh, this one looks like it's ready to go as well. It's really discolored, really badly discolored inside. Here, this must have gotten quite hot. It's all cracked. 0.15 mic, 250 volt. I'm going to see what I can find. I know I've got a 0.1 mic on a board laying around, but I don't think I have two. Let's measure it and see what happens. See what we get. Under 95 nanofarads, which is 0.195 microfarads. So it's not too far out of tolerance, but I'll replace it anyway because it looks old and dry and cracked inside, ready to pop. All right, see what I can find. Right, I've had a look around, had a rummage, but I've only got 1.1 mic cap in my old boards, and so I'm going to replace both of these. So the simple fact is, I'm going to have to order it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no rush. I haven't got any birthday cakes to make at the moment. Also, this one came with no accessories, so I've had to order the mandatory bowl and, you know, whiskey bits to go up here. Yeah, because this one is going in my kitchen. This is going to be for me and my personal use to make the kids' birthday cakes. And yeah, we've got to make sure it's in tippy-top condition. I hope I don't have to re-grease the gearbox, honestly. Until I hear it run, I don't know if I have to do that. But I hope I don't, because it's so messy. Brings back... I can even smell the grease in my memory from 20 years ago. So fingers crossed, it's just electronics problems and not noisy gearbox as well. Anyway, I'm going to put it aside for now. And I'll switch the camera back on when I've actually got some parts. Alright, I've got the Kenwood mixer back on the desk. I've got some parts to fit. I've got my 2-watt 56 ohm resistor, and I've got some capacitors. So we've got the what's this one? 0.1 mic. Now I made a mistake ordering these. I thought I was ordering caps that had wires soldered on to their legs, which I could just take off. That's not the case. The caps that I got have wires coming out of them. Now, that's kind of annoying because although I can use it, it's just not ideal. But that's what I've got, so that's what I'm going to use. And I even managed to order both caps like that, which is a bit silly. See, and there's the other one. These great big wires coming off. But I should be able to get these mounted on the board regardless. Just not as easily as it should be. So let's see how we go. Alright, where's my tools? Oh, and the cutters are in the other room. One moment. Right, back at the desk. Got my tools now. I'm in the process of finally set up my work desk, except I've left all my tools in the other room. Now, because yeah, this room's still a bit of a mess, but the desk isn't. So, got the 0.15 goes in there, which is this big one. How are we going to do this? I'm going to cut these short. Strip them back to so it's flush with the bottom of the cap. Because I've cut the wires so short, I'm only going to get one shot at this, so I'm being very careful not to cut the wire. Now the wire inside is thin enough that I think it looks around about the same diameter as a component leg. So if I can get that to go through the holes, that would be ideal. I don't really want to have to enlarge any holes. Now what I've done here is that one cap's actually shorter. Alright, I'm going to get another cap because I realise I need to have one leg longer than the other one. Let's try that again. Alright, cut this one short, strip it back. Why do it once when you can do it twice, eh? Nice, and that needs to be around about this long. So if we strip it there, strip it back about here. Might end up being a boon that these caps came with wires, because otherwise that definitely wouldn't have fitted, being shorter. Alright, let's pull this back here a little bit. Back in shot. So you can watch me clumsily try and get this through the holes. Without, I should tin them a bit maybe. I'll tin them so that they don't split apart. Hopefully tinning it doesn't make it too big to go through the holes. Oh, You've got to get some water on my soldering iron sponge. Dry as a bucket of sand. Here. Let's cut the end off because I tried to pull the solder towards the end, so if there is a part of it that's, oh, that's perfect. If there is a part that's going to be too big to fit through the hole, it would be the end. In there. Oh, it's beautiful. That'll sit a bit flatter. There we go. Come closer into shot. There we go. Right. Now it's not going to sit down flush on the board. Hopefully that's not going to cause me an issue. I think it will. Won't sit down flush because I've got obviously the one side has the wire coming out to be reaching the other hole. Oh well. It looks a bit chunky. But I assure you, electronically it'll be fine. Now my point 1 is also going to have a bit of a long leg on it. So let's move that back a little bit. Do the same thing with this one. One leg straight. This one has much harder wire on it. The other one was very rubbery feeling, and this is very plasticky feeling. The diameter of the wire looks a bit bigger. Hopefully we get it through the hole. I've never really used wire strippers. I've always found them to be unnecessary. With a bit of care and a nice pair of side cutters, you do everything you need to do. And I've always found wire strippers cut more into the internal cores than simply using side cutters and controlling how hard you cut. So, I mean, that's personal preference. Alright, let's tin this one up. Gonna have to order some more solder. Getting low. mess out of the way. Very easy to sweep things off this mat. I've never used a mat like this before. I thought I'd get one. It was the initial thought was to protect the dining room table from my exploits, but I'm not using the dining room table anymore. Set up my work desk. This was actually my 3D printing desk, which I was using in the basement, but I've not been doing much 3D printing lately, so I've taken that, put it somewhere else. Just giving this hole a little bit of extra space, because this, like I said, this cap, the diameter of the wire is a little bit larger. Just putting my hobby knife in the hole and giving a little twizzle just to give the hole a little bit more space. That should be enough. Also clears out any little bit of excess solder that's hanging around in the holes. There we go. Looks like I'm in. It looks so shonky. I really don't like the way it looks, but I really don't want to order more caps. If this was for a professional job, if I was working in a workshop or something, I would order the right caps, do it properly. But this is mine, and it doesn't have to be pretty, because it's going in my kitchen, and all I care about is that it's safe, and there's nothing unsafe about it. Right, next is my resistor. Oh, get back here. I think I need better light. The light at this desk isn't as good as the kitchen table, unfortunately. I'll have to see how it looks when I actually edit this video. This is my first video with this camera at this desk, using a Canon camera that I picked up to fix, but there's nothing wrong with it. It just needed a battery, which is kind of disappointing, but also cool. You know, pick something on cheap, nothing wrong with it. Put a new battery in, great. But it doesn't make for an interesting video or an interesting repair. I did pull apart the battery and have a look, but it was royally stuffed. Right, I need to find my isopropyl. Give this thing a clean. One sec, I'm just going to find it. I don't know where it is. Oh, seems like I've actually got ethyl alcohol. That'll do. It'll clean it. And we have a proper dispenser for it either. Where's my toothbrush? Toothy brushy. There you are. That's probably going to do a better job. Thought it would do a good job. Maybe I need to get myself some proper isopropyl. This stuff doesn't seem to clean as well. These stubborn bits of flux. You'll be right back. Right, let's do one last check around, see if there's anything else wrong. Now check that triac, didn't I? Triac, definitely got no short. I'll put the meter. If I put that there, can you see the meter there? Is this upside down? Have I been filming this whole video upside down? I guess from your point of view it doesn't matter, but from my point of view, looking up at the monitor, it's upside down. Whatever. I don't need to look at the monitor. Interesting. Fine. I was going to check. I've checked all those. I've checked those transistors. This cap measures good in circuit. I was going to take one end off though and check it out of circuit. I wonder if it's worth replacing it anyway. To be honest, I have more faith in old caps like that than I do in new caps. Sometimes you just, old components are just better quality. So if it's alright, I'm going to leave it. The other reason is that I don't have any axial caps. That's an unusual, bit of an unusual thing to have. Axial capacitor. Axial means that the pins are on the end instead of underneath. Right. Oh, that's not good. At the moment, I'm getting nothing. Oh, here we go. 4.9 microfarad. So it's reading higher. I mean, higher than its rating. So I'm going to leave that well alone. going to check that resistor that's next to the one I replaced, because that's also taken a bit of slag off of the exploded resistor. Which looks like it should be 680, so 68 ohms, perfect. Put my hand in the way of the meter. 68 ohms. Stay there. And there's one more diode down this end I'm going to check. Interesting. No reading. That was just a probe check. Alright, I'm going to desolder one end of this diode, check it, because I'm getting nothing. Stand that leg up. That's it. What the? Oh no, I desoldered the right thing. I just thought that I desoldered the wrong one then, but I did not. I am not that bad. Right, nothing in that direction, and nothing in that direction. That's interesting. Ooh, we got a bad diode. That's annoying, because I don't have any diodes in stock. I have no idea what this diode is going to be. Now it's open circuit, which is also really weird for a diode. Ah, it's so annoying. I mean, yeah, I should have checked this before I went and ordered parts. At that time I was in a bit of a rush, I must admit. And in hindsight, I knew in my head as I was waiting on parts, I was like, oh, I know I didn't check everything. But that's life with 2 kids. Sometimes you just don't have time to do everything you're supposed to do. It is really nothing. Alright. I'll pull the other end out, see if I can see what this diode is. It occurs to me that I'm complaining about the light in this room, and I don't even have the light on. What an idiot. Check it one more time. I find myself using these probes more often than I use the actual fluke probes that came with this meter, because the fluke, honestly, the fluke ones are nice quality, but the tips on them are like the size of baseball bats. They're absolutely useless for the most part. I know they're designed to have extra tips clipped on the end, but I don't have those at the moment. I used to, I don't know where they went. So I use these banana lead plugs, and they are just much sharper, easier to use. Right, now this diode has no markings on it. It is just a, I don't know if you can see that, it is just a black band, a single black band. So I have no idea what that is. That's a bit No board markings. Oh god, no, that would be too convenient. Alright, I'm going to have to do a little bit of research about this diode, figure out what it is. If it's just a standard glass diode, I mean, is it a diode? I don't even know if it is a diode. It could be supposed to be open, so it could be some sort of protection. I wonder. Because the band is in the middle. Perhaps it's actually a protection. Perhaps we've got... Yeah, that's not a diode, is it? But if it's not a diode, I don't know how it's supposed to measure. But to have the band in the middle, which means it's not indicating one end is negative. So if it's not indicating one end is negative, then it can't be a diode, because diodes have to have polarity. This is some sort of protection device. Perhaps it's a short protection. So if it was short, it would actually be doing its job and have been blown. So I think it's probably okay. I might do a little bit of reading before I'm going to put it back. I'm going to do a little bit of reading about it. See if we can find out exactly what it is and how it's supposed to measure. I'll do that before I put it back. But I think we're alright, because that ain't a diode. Alright, I did some reading about these, and they're often used in power supplies. It seems like it could be a GGD, a glass gas discharge device, which is meant to measure open circuit until it detects a certain voltage, and then it can measure a short circuit. So it's basically, I think it's fine, and I'm going to leave it. Because I think it's, yeah. I think it could also be another device that's a type of Zener diode used as a voltage regulator. I don't think it's that. But without a circuit diagram, it's difficult to tell. I'm going to leave it. And I'm going to see how it goes. I may be wrong, but I think it's alright. Right, I just popped it back in. Is there anything else I need to check? So my camera's moved. Probes are stuck together. Check those. It's got another couple of caps, but those ones are fine. That type of cap I really very rarely have any issues with, the grey ones. So unless this thing gives me more trouble, I won't be looking at them. What's this resistor? 150k. Going to the markings, it looks like a brown, green, yellow, which is 150k. Good. So that's fine, I reckon I can give this thing a test. I'll try and clean up a little bit of that carbon on the board on this side. I need that there. Not in shot, am I? I'm not good at this filming business. Which I should be, because I work in television. I reckon we can give it a test. Is that crazy? Am I being crazy? Probably. Let's put this back together and try it out. Just make sure I've got some solder on the soldering iron. Don't need down on anymore. That's another trick with, you always got to leave solder on the tip of your soldering iron. Never leave a dry soldering iron sitting there turned on, because it will ruin the tip. Hot tip. Right, where's my parts? Over here. Right, just have to. Got the parts. What am I looking for? A couple of screws to hold on this plate. Go on like that. Was it one screw only? And then the other two there? Yeah, I think it was just this one in here. Gotta be gentle with something this old, just in case the plastics become brittle. Now that goes into, there's a groove in here. Yeah, goes in there. Yeah, that's in the groove. Stay in the groove. Stay in there for me. No, you didn't jump out. Jerk. Alright, I need this. They were this way. Yeah. A spring. Okay, so perhaps this side's easy to get to. Not on camera. Let's go back a little bit. Alright. So put this on. This through here. Coming in. Yeah. Really? Come on. Oh, get out of there. Seems like I've got to get it up in the right place before I put it through the hole. There we go. Get my spring on. Ah, bugger, this one had the orange wire on it as well. That's not annoying at all. Come on. Come on, get in there. This is fiddly. Spring and in now. Good. Screwdriver. This one. And I'm not. Oh, the pin's not in the hole anymore. Get in there. Don't be painful. Right, so if I start there, which is half a turn away from my notch, because this is 8.5 turns I need, so if I go from there, that's half, and then from here it's going to be 1. I don't feel like that was cross threading. Alright, looks like that's the start, so let's say that's half a turn. So when I get to the end, I'm going to go back a quarter of a turn. So from here I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd say that's a pretty good place to start. I have to have the notch, my marking line up with the screw, so I'm not going to go back a quarter of a turn like I initially thought that I might. I don't really know what is the point in having that there. What is it actually doing? Is that even connected to anything? It doesn't connect to anything. Is that in the right place? I'm sure that's where it was. It's almost like an afterthought. It was definitely there. Why? What does it do? Is this is not electrically connected to anything. This is isolated by the plastic. There's I guess there is the ring. It is connected to the ring that's underneath the screw. So yeah, an electrical connection exists to the board, but I don't know if it goes anywhere. Alright, let's leave it there anyway. Alright, let's get this other one in. I'll pop the spring in. That in first. The spring. The spring has sprung. That in there. Next, get that in. Come on. Okay. Let's go back until we feel it drop into the groove. Alright, that's it there. Okay. So there's, where's my notch? I can't see it. So that's half a turn. Alright, so this one should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it looks in no way the same height as the other one. That's weird. Did it not grab? Start again. Are they the same length? Didn't even check that. Alright, in the groove, half a turn, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not the same height. It's really weird. They should be the same height. What? I mean, this one's got that. This one's got that clip on there. I wonder if I just need to check and make sure I've got it in the right place, because if I've got it in the wrong place then it will set the height wrong. So I'm just going to go back on the video when I took this apart and check that I've got this cable in the right place. Right, I checked my video and it's definitely in the right place. So I'm just going to go this one down an extra half a turn, an extra turn, until it's level, because I don't know how I got that so wrong. Looks level now. Back a little bit. Alright. I wonder how did I get that so wrong? I counted the turns. I'm going to watch that video back later and check it. I'm sure I counted the turns. Oh, there's another screw there. That goes in this hole, I believe. That's the one. All right. Oh, what do you say we give this a test? I wonder if it's going to go bang. Gotta love that. A bit of excitement. I mean, it's not nice when you've just been repairing something and you turn it on and it blows up. It's also a bit of a thrill. Bit of a thrill in life. Dat is nog de wand to feet. Where'd the wire go? Hello. Why is this? My blue wires got missing. Come out, come out. Bit weird. Blue wire is much shorter than the brown wire. Through the hole. That's it. Okay, that feels good. Alright. Did I get that screwdriver? Oh man. My little flat blade screwdriver's not here. I've got to go get that. Screwdriver was right next to me. I was rummaging around in the other room for 5 minutes. Foolish. Probably have reattached the hinge before I did this test. Hindsight's wonderful. Okie dokie. I don't really know how far I should put this together, but I do want to turn it over before I turn it on. So might as well just put this on. It's quick and easy. Oh, forgot something. Extend. Alright, almost there. More screw, and then we can test it. I wonder if it's going to work. Exciting. I won't put the cover on there just yet. Are you ready? Right, we are in the off position. Alright, you can't really see anything. Should probably move the camera. Let's just do this for now. See what happens. Revving up like a little motorbike. Alright, what do you got? What do you got? Oh yeah. Should we give it the beans? Yeah, baby. Did it. Alright. I'm going to give this thing a bit of spick and span, give it a clean up. Clean some of the dough out around here. I don't think you really need to see that. It's not particularly thrilling. But you can hear. She's fixed. Not bad at all. 15 euros this one cost me. 15 euros. And I just got some beautiful accessories for it, which cost me another, was it 20? No, 15 euros for the accessories as well. With the dough beater, the whiskey bit, and the other unidentified one, and a bowl. And it also came with a little spanner for this. Came with a little spanner for this bolt, which I'm guessing is to take this off for a bit of cleaning, which I'm going to do. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. It's got to be 20 years old, maybe a lot older, 20, 30 years old. It's not been used too much. It's got a little bit of tape on here, where this actual knob is cracked, but I mean, the amount that you need to open that is minimal. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to film me cleaning it, but I might mix some dough later with it. Make some focaccia bread, and then you can see that. Although I don't usually mix focaccia, I don't usually need focaccia. I can do it anyway. Alright, that'll do for now. Cheers. Well, I thought I might as well show you in action. I'm not actually mixing anything at the moment. I've just got my accessories. So dough hook, pristine condition, one of those that have never been used. A whiskey bit. It's nice and quiet. As I said at the start of the video, I was thinking about whether the gearbox might be loud, but it's quiet as anything. Which means, yes, I don't have to open it up and replace the grease in the gearbox. So I've also got this one. Particularly know what that one's for. I'm going to be mixing a cake. And this little spanner I'm going to use to take off that cover and clean it. Right, that's really enough. I think you've seen enough. See you later.